Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Novotny and David Dollar.
Hey, Jenn.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. There you go. I like it. You're getting there.
I'm getting there. I'm
training that
high.
voice. I'm helping you work with that voice. I'm training you. I'm getting you in there, which is good.
Thanks for that.
So,
yeah, my degree didn't do that.
You're welcome. What is your degree specifically? Like, what did you actually major in college?
Music education. Music education with a concentration in voice. And I had enough credits for a piano minor, but I didn't want to do the jury because the juries are a pain in the butt. So I didn't do the jury.
Right. Understand.
Yeah.
So, So where did you go to school? Remind me again. I should know this, but it's some small college.
Yes, it is a small private college in the middle of nowhere, but it's there's a large outlet mall nearby.
Okay.
But it's called Grove City. So Grove City College.
Gotcha. Grove City of the Amish. Got it.
Got it. I mean, not of the Amish, but
Amish University. Their football team only plays in the day because they don't have lights at night.
The Wolverines.
So very cool. And obviously you're doing all the things that you went to school for.
Oh yes, obviously.
Owning a travel agency. So
I mean, I did use my degree for quite some time.
True. Well, I worked in radio because I'm broadcast communications, which is radio and television.
Okay.
And I worked in there probably for 5 or 6 years in TV and radio. I was on the air doing radio stuff. I was in production for televisions and doing sales and things like that. And it just, I don't want to say I got disenchanted, but I did work at a job at a particular station that I'm like, this has kind of ruined me. I don't ever want to work in this media again. So, Starbucks and then travel agency, and here we are. And here we are hosting a podcast. Jenn,
that's right.
How did you Disney this week?
So this is actually fun. I planned an unexpected Disney trip for July.
Fun times. Fun.
We're not expecting to go in July. I think we had talked about it a couple weeks ago. And like, when are you going again? I'm like, well, we had to cancel May because we're doing the Disney cruise. So the next planned one is not till October. Just kidding. JK. Yeah. Now we're going in July because I'm going on the Utopia. There's going to be for the new Royal Caribbean ship, which happens to sail out of Port Canaveral. I mean, and it sails on a Monday. So what are you going to do for the weekend before? I guess since it's right there, I might as well just pre-night in Disney. We're staying at the Riviera.
Nice. Very nice. That's one of 4 that I haven't stayed in. Old Key West, Riviera, Bay Lake, and Beach Club. I've stayed at Yacht Club, but not Beach Club. And those are 4 that I have not spent one night in. And I'm really trying to figure out how to, because they're all deluxes and they're all pricey. I really wish I could look back and say, the All-Stars are the only ones I haven't been in yet because I can knock those out, but not so much. But we'll get there. So Saturday on the weekends, of course, and you know this since we chat randomly during the week. Right. My kid and I, we do a Saturday afternoon run around. We go to the store. We go to Target, things like that. We go to a bookstore called Second and Charles, and it's books and it's music and it's CDs and just all kinds of pop culture stuff. Most of it's used. And so I'll go in there and spend $25 and I'll come out with like 5 Blu-rays and like a couple of CDs or whatever, just stuff. But they have a poster section that I just kind of ran into. And of course, I'm renovating my office and kind of redoing some things, moving stuff around, and I'm finally putting things on the wall in our office. And I've got an incredible poster, framed poster of Bolt, the movie from 2008. I got that framed. Yeah. I have a Breakfast at Tiffany's framed poster. I've got something else framed. My Attack of the Clones Star Wars poster. I finally got it framed after like 15 years. And I stumbled across this. I'm sending this to you now, Messenger, and I'll have to post it on our webpage. Rogers the Musical movie poster. I saw it and I'm like, this is amazing. This is the cool. It was just randomly in this stack of posters, and it's a one sheet and it's perfect size. And I'm like, $10, I'm buying this. And so now I own a Rogers
like 3 months.
It doesn't matter. I'm hoping they bring it back. Although I don't think they will, because I think we would have heard about it.
I think we would have already heard about it.
But how cool is this poster?
It's really cool. Neat though.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. My math skills are off. Because I've got a wall that's about, I don't know how, I can't tell you how many feet wide it is.
Yeah, I can't do
9 feet
that.
wide. I've got 4 posters that need to go up there. Obviously, I want them evenly spaced. So now I have to do the math of like how many inches from the wall, how many inches they need to be, how many inches from the top. Just because you don't want to get in there and unless you purposely like make them completely off kilter or something, like it's a very apparent you did that. You don't
Yeah.
want to look at it and be like, oh, that one's like 1 inch higher than the other. Oh, that's
Oh
like
no,
1 inch
listen, here's what
closer.
you need.
Oh
I'm gonna
no.
save your life. It's like you can get a laser level. It's maybe $25
Okay.
and it's battery operated and it sticks to the wall and it gives you a
Ah,
nice straight laser line. That way, if you're really trying to line stuff
nice.
up,
Hmm.
because we have done that in a couple spots in our house. And sometimes
I
we do them purposely askew,
I
but
thought about hopping on Facebook and being like, "Hey, math scholars, I have this wall that's this big, and I have 4 posters. Can you tell me tell me where these need to go?" Just see somebody with math,
hey,
because our agent Katie, her husband Ben is in math. Maybe he could help. I don't
he
know.
can help
He
you.
does math actuary, which is really more. I mean, even saying that is above my pay grade. I don't
Yeah,
even know what.
I can't even tell you what that does.
Yeah, I
I
know
know
what
it's
actuary
it's
is.
really smart math.
It sounds
It's
important though. It sounds really
it's
important.
probably
So,
very important. So I,
so let's
I
get to some news. Food and Wine Festival, Jen, is coming back as we knew it would,
oh
obviously.
well, I mean, yeah, that wasn't a
As you might
question.
say. The Food
Obvi.
and Wine Festival is coming back. Now, it's a month shorter because over the last couple of years, obviously, post
They
COVID, the darkest
uh-huh.
timeline, it has been,
Mm.
what it felt like as soon as, 30 minutes after the
5
Flower and
months.
Garden ended, Food and Wine started, right?
It's like 5
But now
months.
they pulled it back to August 29th through November 23rd. Jen, first of all, how do you feel about the shorter days? Are you okay with that? Would you rather have it longer?
I mean, so of course I love Food and Wine. I always
Hmm.
want there to be a festival. However, I think it's the right call
I do too.
because it loses something if it's just perpetually there. It
Right.
loses the specialness. And I do remember, like, okay, my favorite is the Canadian cheddar soup.
Hmm.
You can't eat that when it's 100
No,
degrees.
no. Same in August, like August 1st, when it's
You're
like
like,
94
"Bleh."
and you're melting. You're like, oh,
I
this
mean,
soup is
even
so
August
good.
29th might still be like
Yeah.
hot, but that at least starts to feel more fall,
At
you
least, yeah,
know?
the Halloween stuff is up by then. Although who knows when
Yeah.
the Halloween stuff will go up. Typically it goes up, I feel like, July
Oh,
5th,
like,
Halloween,
oh
whatever.
yeah, it
But
depends on what their first party is, I guess.
true, true. And last year they had the parties all the way into early August. We haven't
They
gotten the dates on
did.
those yet, which means that later on today they'll release
I
the
was gonna
dates.
say, which means later
Um,
on this week, we'll
Josh
get
is listening.
something.
He's like, go ahead. The show's out. Go ahead and put the dates out.
Yeah, go
But
ahead.
I'm wondering if
Friday.
they're going to kind of pull those dates back some. Although that's a moneymaker, so they may just keep the dates
I
into
don't
August. And
see,
so,
I don't
yeah,
feel like they're gonna change the Halloween party dates, but I do definitely see the reasoning behind switching
right.
Food and Wine, and I think that it's
Right.
the right call. So,
I agree. I like the exclusivity of it. I mean, you got 3 months to
mhm.
go, and if you don't go, then you miss
Yeah.
it. It is one of those things where you need to be there. They're going to be bringing back the Eat to the Beat concert series, which is
Mhm.
typically bands and artists that are a
Yep.
little past their popularity, and that come in there. And
But that's okay.
instead of state fairs, they go to Epcot. We'll also be getting the scavenger hunt, where you can purchase a map for Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak. You can find a little chef all over the place and get some prizes for that. You'll get a
Mhm.
meals fromage montage, which is when you try all the things,
Mhm.
like 5 or 6 of the dishes or whatever. You get like a free something something at the very end of it when you turn that in, or you can just buy it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all the things are returning as far as we know. Of course, the Food and Wine stuff, and as you mentioned, the Canadian cheddar cheese soup will be back,
Yes.
as well be the steak, which I absolutely
Oh,
just
yes, you love to play.
I love steak so much. But here's my other theory too. I think that I do think they're going to start doing that like pre-COVID, where they
Mm.
had it like late August through November.
Mhm. Yep,
But
agreed.
also, CommuniCore Hall is opening at Epcot in June.
In June, which I
So
will
I'm
see.
wondering if they want to separate some of that. They don't want people
Yeah,
spending all their time at World Showcase. They want people at CommuniCore Hall. Now, what is that? It's going
very
to be like
possible.
a festival area where Mickey
Yes.
and friends are going to be there for meet and greets. There'll be
Mhm.
probably some kiosks for food and things like that, merch shops, things like that.
Which
But
I'm
they'll be
looking forward to
hosting.
seeing in June.
I am too. Now, do you actually know fully what CommuniCore Hall is like when you walk in there? What exactly we're going to see?
That's a great question. And I don't know that I could fully describe at this point. I feel like
Mhm.
this is the one part of the renovation that was like,
Right.
yes, it's going to be like a festival center, which, I'm picturing like the old, oh gosh, where Body Wars was.
The
Help
Odyssey
me.
or the
No, no,
Wonders
no,
of
not
Life
Odyssey.
Pavilion or
Wonders of Life. Thank you.
yeah.
Because for
Hmm.
a long time they used Wonders of Life Pavilion as the festival center where they would do like some of the seminars, right? If you're doing pairings or
Right.
tastings or, cooking demonstrations or whatnot. I know one time I made like candy sushi, like, which was really,
Right.
really fun. Um, there was a big open area for that. And so it was just a really, really neat location. I
Hmm.
think so. In my head, part of me is picturing the new CommuniCore hall to have something like that. But I, regret to say that I don't necessarily know exactly what it's going to look like inside.
But I'm wondering if it's going to be something like the Imagination Pavilion was, or what was the name of it? It was I just had it in my head. Not Imagination Pavilion, but the
Odyssey.
no, not the Odyssey, the Interventions. Interventions.
Oh,
I'm wondering
interventions.
if it's going to have any like kind of throwbacks to some of that.
Oh,
Where now,
maybe.
for those of you who don't know, and this was
Hmm.
5 or 6 years ago when they started closing Interventions, in its heyday, you could go in there and there was everything from a roller coaster ride simulator
Oh
to
yeah,
a waste
which was cool.
management sponsored a booth. You could go in
Yep.
there and figure out
There's a
how waste management worked. Um,
firefighting
there was
thing.
a firefighting kind of little maze thing you went through.
Hmm.
There was a little area you could go in and feel what it feels like to be in a tornado with the wind
Tornado.
coming through. Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
all kinds of
Yeah.
little learning opportunities. It always seemed
Yes.
a little garish, a little
I
kitschy,
mean, there was a
They were very
paint thing too.
there was a paint thing. There was, I mean, there
The
was a
paint
lot of things
thing.
that went through there through interventions, and it was an educational part. And it was
Yes.
one of those, okay, Jen, it's 96 degrees outside. I just finished my cheddar cheese soup. I am so hot right now. Let's go to interventions and find something to
It cool off.
do.
Yeah,
And as they started pulling some of those things down, I remember they put a meet and greet in there with
they
Mickey,
did.
and it was really just very standard, very basic.
Yeah.
Tinkerbell's was in there for a while.
Hmm.
They were just filling it with
Hmm.
whatever, and so I'm looking forward to CommuniCore to having something permanent for some of these things.
Which
Again,
is back to the
I'm like you.
original idea.
Exactly. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I have no idea. I am looking forward to it though. And again, I think having Food and Wine, I think they would
Hmm.
eventually have done that anywhere where it's just three or
Agreed.
4 months. But I think they want to kind of give some separation to CommuniCore and Food and
And
Wine
Food and
and have
Wine
it at the
opening,
same
which
time.
makes sense because Flower and Garden is closing sooner. It's not going into early
Yes.
June.
Yep.
So it's going to allow that to open up
Hmm.
and get going before that happens. I'm excited to see
Yep.
it in June when I go down
Yeah.
for, Tiana's
Hmm.
and this is part of it, like the culmination of the Epcot, which me seeing Epcot with no walls, I'll probably cry because,
Right.
that's my park.
I mean, I'll cry happiness. I don't have to walk around in a huge circle just to get from one place to the other. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I
Like
need to be
I
right over
miss
there,
cutting
which is approximately 35 yards, but now I have to walk a half a
a half
mile
a
to get
mile.
over there. So
Like I
yes, let's
actually
get over
forget
there.
how fast it actually is to go from
Mhm.
Soarin' to Test Track. It's
Right? It's
actually
just a walk
not
straight through.
that bad.
I mean, yeah, it's just a straight walk, but all of a sudden it's not. And so it's,
Yeah, I mean, you
yeah,
just had to skirt the fountain before, and so now it'll just be
yes,
like,
yes. June 10th is when everything comes down, which will be
yes.
exciting. Also exciting, Jen, this is going to be exciting for you.
Mhm.
Disney has now filed a permit for construction in the Imagination Pavilion. Now, let me go ahead and set this up. There's again, we mentioned last week, a lot of websites like to put up different things of this is
They
what they're
do.
doing. We don't know exactly for sure.
We
We
do
like
not.
to assume, but we don't know. The permit is for quote unquote general construction. This is
Yeah.
the same company they're working with. They also did the Trails and Restaurant at Fort Wilderness, so they've worked with
Mhm.
them before. The permit does not confirm or deny any specific work. General construction could mean minor maintenance or major updates to the ride. The permit expires actually November of 2025, so they have plenty of time to work on this. That doesn't
Okay.
mean they're going to start closing it soon and work on
No,
it for a year and a
no, they
half. What it means
won't.
is they filed it to do something. Now, let's go ahead and speculate a little bit. Let's go ahead and start some rumors here, Jen.
Oh,
Do you think this is finally they're seeing the call and they're like, you know what, we're gonna make some changes, or do you think it's just gonna be like they're gonna close it for 2 months and just upkeep and be done?
I hope so. I really hope that they've listened to my plea of getting it back to original Figgy, where Figgy is
Mhm.
not a pest, where
Right,
Figgy is a beloved sidekick character, like a main character in his own right. I
right.
would love, 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 love to see the Dreamfinder come back. I
Mhm.
understand that might not happen. I would love it. Also, if I could speculate, I for a long time, and I think you and I talked about this. I think Inside Out could be a good fit in the
Right.
with Figment. Again,
Yes.
Figment has to be part of it.
Right. And with Inside Out 2 coming up,
That
if
could
it's a
make
big hit,
sense.
which people think it's going to be because it looks fantastic. The
Yes, it
trailer looks
does.
amazing. So here's my question for you on this, Jen, and follow me on
Mhm.
this here. Because when I say
Okay.
this, you're gonna be like, oh, you're fired. But follow me here.
Okay.
Does Figment need a ride anymore? Could this ride be something completely different without Figment? Because, and I say this because I
Mhm.
would say 10 years ago, Figment was a small part of the park, but not
Mhm.
everywhere. Figment is now an Epcot icon. He's on the merch. He
Mhm.
sponsors. He's the main character in a lot of the festivals. You see him everywhere. He's got a meet and greet.
Mhm.
I feel as if they could do something completely different with this imagination idea and not have Figment and Figment still be just as much a part of Epcot. I'm not sure that he needs the ride. And I think that I'm wondering if Disney's now seeing maybe we don't have to be tied to this Figment concept. We can actually do something different and Figment not be harmed at all by doing something different. I know you think Figment and Imagination, but I feel like they could do a lot of things with Figment that doesn't have a ride. If that
I
makes
see
any
where you
sense.
it does. I see where you're coming from with that. I don't know that I fully agree though, because
Mhm.
let's look at things like Pirates, where Johnny Depp was, I know whatever
Right.
happened there,
Right.
but
Right.
they
Right.
put him in the attraction
Mhm.
because that was, keeping it there. Mickey never had an attraction. Now he's got Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Right.
I feel like they're going to need to keep some sort of a Figment present, because otherwise they're like, oh wait, why is this like who's
But I
this
feel like
who's this
Figment's
little
going to have a presence. I don't whether he has a ride or
he
not. He will have a presence during
will,
that.
but
He's too
without
popular. People love him too much, especially with the character meet and greet out there now.
Yeah, but
You
just
know,
think in 10 years, if it's people who, now there's no ride. So now
true,
there's no nostalgia. So,
true.
other than people are like, oh, that's just an old ride. I mean, like, let's even
Mhm.
think Spike the Bee. Spike the Bee does not have a ride. So
No,
arguably, Spike the Bee has a presence in the park during Flower and Garden. But how many people actually know who Spike the
but
Bee
nobody
is?
knows who he is.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, he's
Mhm.
not a beloved character, whereas Figment is. So I don't know
Right.
that they really want to get rid of, even if he's like a cameo somewhere,
Mhm.
like, what's the bird's name in Mickey?
You mean the orange bird or Chewy
Thor
in
Chewy.
Chubby
Chubby. Yeah.
Chubby
Chubby. Yeah.
Chuuby Chubby.
Yes. Chubby.
So, yeah, so I was kind of thinking through that though, because and what I understand too, that when they redid the Journey to Imagination ride to the one
Mhm.
that you love so much right now, um,
Mm,
they changed the track up.
they
So it will
did.
be very hard to go back to the original version of, but I think
They
it
did.
might be something like a test track where they're going to go to a new concept inspired by World of
Yes,
Motion.
that
So they may
very
do it
well could be.
inspired by the original Journey into
It
Imagination.
couldn't be the original. They might have to
No.
shorten the original. I mean, and
Mhm.
the track is still fairly large. It's not a
Yes.
super
Yeah.
small track.
Right.
So,
Right. So you're calling it the Figment is going to get a new ride. Got it. Okay, we got that down. Very
oh, I'm
cool.
saying that. I listen. I would stick with that. That's my prediction.
Maybe. I don't. I would like to see it, but I would not be hurt if they decide to do something different with the attraction.
I
It's a
will.
pretty good pavilion because again, I don't know that Figment needs the ride to be as popular as he is, and I don't think his popularity is going to go away anytime soon.
I don't
So
either, but they they have a habit of having attractions with popular characters. So
true.
having him, like I said, having an inside out theme, you could
Mhm.
totally still get Figgy in there. 100% you could get Figgy in there.
Very true. So, skipping over to Hollywood Studios, May 1st, 2024. Did you realize this? It's the 35th anniversary of Hollywood Studios. Was that like that wasn't even on my radar until I was reading some
I
stuff today.
I did know that, but I think I'd forgotten. Because
Yeah.
I
It's
mean, I
like
guess because it's not a round number, but
right. Well, Animal Kingdom had their 26th a couple of days ago, and so it's like, oh, Animal Kingdom,
yeah.
yay, and the Epcot
Yeah.
walls are coming down. Magic Kingdom is Magic
Right.
Kingdom. Oh, Hollywood Studios, 35 years. They're going to
Hmm.
be releasing a brand new merchandise line. Of course, they will.
I mean,
Adult
yeah.
apparel, youth apparel, collectibles, limited release pins. There will be a virtual queue for the store to go in
Hmm.
on May 1st, which of course there's always
Hmm.
virtual queues. But they're also going to be doing some presentation stuff there at Hollywood Studios. I think the stage where they have the Beauty and the Beast sing along will be taken up that first morning with
Okay.
Hollywood Studios stuff. They're going to be doing some
Good.
presentations and whatever
Hmm.
because they're honoring 35
Yeah,
years. That's a
absolutely.
good time. Opened on May 1st, 1989. So yeah, maybe we'll talk about Hollywood Studios a little bit next year or next week actually.
Hmm.
Also in Hollywood Studios, the Droid Depot and Savi's hand built later. Now, have you ever built a
Yeah.
lightsaber or
I have.
built a droid?
I have my
Have you?
lightsaber over there. Yeah.
Nice. Our friend Derek Frank will be proud of you. Very
Yeah.
proud of you. Is it all like pinky and got princess glitter on it and stuff?
Uh,
And
no, it's purple.
of course it is. Well, I mean,
uh,
Mace Windu's lightsaber is purple.
exactly. I have the Mace
Legend
Windu
has
purple.
it that when he was being casted and he was talking to George Lucas and about the prequels, they asked him about which lightsaber do you want, and he was like, "I want mine to be purple." So he is the only one that has a purple lightsaber. He's with a purple lightsaber. So
Yeah.
kudos to him. So Droid Depot and Savi's hand-built lightsaber.
Hmm.
Before you would reserve that, and you pay when you get there. Now it's prepaid. So for you guys out there who are
Yep.
wanting to reserve Droid Depot or Savi's hand-built laser, then I keep saying laser lightsaber. Space laser. It's a space sword. That's what you. Have you ever gone through Walmart or Target and you have the cheap knockoff versions of the lightsaber and it says like space sword or something on it and you like
I mean, I've
yeah
never
we have
had
those
cause to do that.
we have
So
those at our Walmart. Walk through the toy section.
okay.
It's like $3. Space sword or space
Space
warrior stick
sword.
or
Oh
something.
my
And it's like
God.
okay.
All
Anyway,
right.
prepaid. Smelliphant. Do you know what that is? Smelliphant. It's brand new over in Storybook Circus at Magic Kingdom. They have elephants now in Storybook Circus, and there's a scavenger hunt that you actually can go get little stickers for.
Oh, how
And you
funny.
walk around and you smell things, basically, different stations and stuff. And
There's
it's
some things I don't want to smell in Disney. Let's
you
be
can.
very clear.
That's very true. You can be a sniff assistant. Oh no, I'm sorry, whiff assistant.
A
Whiff
whiff assistant.
Whiff assistant. Now I can understand smelliphant. I get that it kind of goes together, but whiff assistant.
That's
A little.
that's a little hard. But okay,
Stretched, a little
I'll
stretched.
go with it. It's
But those are popping up now around Storybook Circus, where you actually can go and get your little map and get your little scavenger hunt thingy, and you can go and smell stuff and be a sniff assistant. I don't know what that means, but okay. Sniff assistant,
okay, great. I
wow.
hope you don't have to sniff
So-
sweaty bodies because that's
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Final piece of news here: Victoria and Albert's. Jen, you've been there before? I believe
Oh,
it's a fast food
yes.
restaurant, burgers and
Oh,
dogs
my
and stuff
gosh.
at Grand Floridian. Tell me about
sacrilege.
your experience with Victoria and Albert's. How long has it
Oh
been
my
since you've
gosh.
gone?
It has been a few years. It has been pre-COVID.
Mhm.
Has been on our list to go back. And now we absolutely have to make it happen. But it is phenomenal. I have always said one of the top 3 meals of my life
Mhm.
and vying for number 1 for sure. Multi-course meal. So you are talking literally every course from the amuse-bouche
Right.
to then you're going to go to gosh like an appetizer, like a salad course, you got the fish course, you got the pasta course, you got the
Mhm.
main course, you got the cheese and the desserts, and you got the coffees, and it's got this like crazy cool coffee maker, and you can do it with a wine pairing. There's a chef's table option. They do enforce dress code. Like, guys, you will wear a
Yep.
tie. Like
Yep.
this is like bougie to the max. Absolutely amazing.
I have to
I
put a
love
tie on my Disney shirts. Got it. I can do that.
it.
So the reason we bring it up, of course, Victoria and Albert's is one of 9 restaurants in Florida to be given a Michelin star. The
It's
Michelin Guide
huge.
has awarded its first ever star to a restaurant on Disney property, giving the honor to Victoria and Albert's, which is, of course, is a very upscale eatery in the
Oh,
Grand
yes.
Floridian restaurant or Grand Floridian Resort, and it's an American contemporary restaurant, as you said. And so
Mhm.
Michelin stars are a big deal. Now, this is the Michelin
It's a
tire.
big
And so
deal.
when I saw pictures, there was the big mascot there with the big. It looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and everything, but he's
Yeah.
he's there to award the star. The Michelin Guide, which is published by the Michelin
Yes.
Tire Company,
Mhm.
started awarding stars in 1926, and there's like 30,000 establishments over 30
Mhm.
territories and across 3
Mhm.
continents. This is a worldwide designation. I believe it's the first theme park restaurant to get a
That would
Michelin
not
star.
surprise me. That wouldn't
I
surprise
imagine
me.
prices will go up now because they're like, hey, we got a Michelin star. We can
Probably.
charge as much as we want. And guess
Mhm.
what? Jen will pay it because Jen loves the food. I
Yeah.
just can't bring myself to spend that much money on food. I can't.
Listen,
I mean, there's like
to
it's a
but
cost thing where I would be like, I could be doing this with this money. I just,
but to me, food is part of the destination.
true.
Food is part of my enjoyment of something. I would, in a lot of cases, I would rather sit, have an amazing meal with, the people I'm with and gorge myself for 3.5 hours. Like that
Mhm.
is entertaining for me. Like that
Right.
is, something that I would very, very much be happy with.
Yes, and that's why we have a great podcast, is because you and I are different perspectives on things like this. Because I'd be
Yeah.
like, man, this dinner's $600. That's 1/5 of an annual pass. So that's like four meals at Sci-Fi Restaurant
Yeah.
and 2 Disney pins.
Well, it's just like when on DCL when I did Enchanté. I did it because
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what?
Now, I would do that. That's a couple $100 per restaurant too. But I mean, I believe, right, for
Upcharge per
2 people.
person. Yeah, it's not cheap.
Yep, it's not
It
cheap.
is
I
definitely
would
not
do
cheap,
that though.
but
I
it's
would do
amazing.
Enchante. But Victoria Albert's, of course, is sold out a lot because you have to get reservations for it, and it's not a very big establishment. Now, have you done the chef's table? They do have a chef's table, right? where you
They
can
do
sit
have a
with the
chef's table.
chef?
I
Okay.
have not done the chef's table, but I have heard amazing things about the chef's
Mhm.
table. I did, gosh, I was in the Queen Victoria room, I think, last
Nice.
time. So
Nice.
yeah,
Well,
'cause it was
when you get in there
Mhm.
again, take your mic, set it up right there.
Oh,
Use your phone as a hotspot, and let's go ahead. You can do a live cut in. It'd be great. We can actually do a live segment with you. If
sure.
Kyla or Heather and I are doing the podcast, you can just call on in
Sure,
from
that'll go
Victoria
really
Albert's.
well at a Michelin star
I
restaurant.
mean, you're
Yeah.
paying the money. You should be like, hey, I'm paying this money, so I should be able to podcast and they probably will give you your meal free because you're giving the good promotion to the restaurant.
Yeah, somehow I don't know
So
that that's what's gonna happen.
So Victoria and Albert's may or may not be a bucket list item for me. But that's important because today, Jen, is National Bucket List Day.
I love it.
It's one of those kind of things you just look online, you're like, oh, it's a bucket list
Look
day.
at
Very good.
that.
Now, do you have a bucket list of any kind? Whether it's travel, whether it's life, whether it's financial goals or anything, do you have a bucket list of any kind?
I do.
So,
Yeah.
what are a couple of things on your, maybe non-travel related? We'll get
Oh,
to travel
okay.
in a minute, but are there any non-travel related things on your bucket list?
Non-travel related.
Or is everything centered around travel?
A lot of it's centered around travel.
Mhm.
I mean, we would like to get Brady's student loans paid off at some point. That would be really
nice.
nice.
That would be good. That would be good.
We're close. We're close.
Getting there. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
mine's centered around most of mine centered around like personal accomplishments. Like, there's a book that I want to write that I've kind of half written. I would love to see my name on a book.
Sure.
You know, whether anybody buys it or not, ever, who cares? I just want to see my
Yeah.
name on the front of a book to know that I've done something. You know, but yeah, a lot of mine are travel related as well. And so let's talk a little bit of travel bucket list. We're going to kind of go through a couple of categories here and just kind of talk about,
Mhm.
we'll talk about some of our bucket list items, like things that if we did these things, we could cross off a list going, that's awesome. And a bucket
Yeah.
list item, of course, for those out there, I think for me personally, it'd be something that you don't get to do very often, something that's maybe rare, maybe
Yeah.
something you've worked for a lot, or maybe it's an
Mhm.
opportunity that you don't get very often to do. And it's like, wow,
Mhm.
I did that. That's awesome. So
Right.
Jen, let's talk at Disney. What would be a Disney bucket list item for you?
A Disney bucket list, like very
Disney related.
specifically
Yep.
Disney related or Disney World, it doesn't
Disney,
matter.
well, let's say the theme parks, Disney World, Disneyland,
Okay.
overseas, whatever, Disney World, just the theme park related. We'll get to cruises in a minute. But
Okay. I would actually like to do the VIP tour at Disneyland.
that would be nice.
I've done one at World. I would love
Mhm.
to do one at Land because I love Land. And though tours work a little bit differently out there. So I would, and I'll actually make your dining reservations for you, which is nice.
Nice.
So yeah, that's like kind of a minor one, but that's definitely on my bucket list is the VIP out that direction.
I think too that, like, because they're smaller parks and they're right there together, I feel like you
Mhm.
get more done in the VIP out
Right.
there than you would at Disney World, because you have to change parks. And yes, they put
You
you in a
do.
van, they take you from park to park, which is great. But when we did it, we had a large group of like 10, 12 people or whatever, or how many people,
Mhm.
whatever the max is on
10
tour
is
group.
a max
Yeah,
per
we
guide.
had 20 because we had tour guides. So we went
Oh,
all
then yeah,
together.
then you could have 20.
And so we didn't get a ton of stuff done because so many people.
Right.
I would love to be able to do a small group of 5 or 6 of my favorite people, you know, and do
Mhm.
a small group and be able to just to
Yeah.
do zip, zip, zip. One of my bucket list items for Disney, though, is to do all 6 parks in one day.
Oh my
Start
goodness. That
out
would be
at
very,
Disney
very
World,
tiring.
do early morning entry. And we talked about park challenges several episodes
Yeah.
ago. Like
Mhm.
what I consider to be a park is you go in, spend an hour there,
Mhm.
knock out a ride or whatever. This would
Yeah.
be different because you're on a time constraint. You have to go
Right.
in, maybe spend 30 minutes there if you can do something small or whatever, just
Maybe.
to have a presence there. Park, get a flight, fly across, try to work it on a day when maybe they're open later, and take the Uber straight to Disneyland,
Yeah.
and you can zip to both parks. That would be so cool to be able to do that, and it's doable. And I know of people who
No,
have
people
done
have
it.
done it.
It's hard to do, and everything has to work out just right. And it's
Yep.
one of those things you just have to have. Everything has to fall your way.
It does.
That would be something cool. Anything else Disney wise that you would like? You know, I would love to try, like spending a week at one night each, the All Stars. You know, movies and music, and
Yeah,
like a three resort trip. I could see that.
definitely not on my bucket list at all. But you know,
I
eating
could
at
see
Victoria and
you.
Albert's again is on my bucket list.
I could see you at 93 years old. You're laying in your bed, and you know time's slipping away, and you know the end is near. You've lived a long, beautiful life, and you grab the tablet, and you're like, the last thing I have to do is I've lived my full life, never staying in an All Star. Cross it off, and then you drift off into heaven. I could see that. That would be a perfect bucket list item for you.
Yeah.
So I was never forced to stay there at any point in time.
Avoided.
I've never even seen sports. So yeah, I can see that. My other one there is something that I've done before, which is the
Yeah.
Parkeology Challenge.
Mhm.
I want to do that again. We earn money
Yeah.
for charity, and I would like to try to do the every ride in one day thing. It's gotten harder now because since we've done it, Tron has opened.
Yep.
Guardians has opened.
Guardians.
There are no more fast passes. Now it's all Genie Plus. Rise of Resistance is no. We did that the first time. That was the major ride
Right,
when we
okay.
did there. But Remy has opened now. By the time
And there
I do
was
it
no
again,
individual lightning lane at that point for Rise.
no, there was
there?
not. There
You
was
would
not.
have
But
to
you can only,
wait.
you can only purchase 2. I can only purchase
Right.
2 lightning lanes. So Tron and Guardians, which
Yeah.
I have to, and we'd have to make sure we got both, because it's one of those things where if you don't get it, then suddenly
You're done.
you're out.
Yeah.
It's 7:02 in the morning and we're out. And so
Yeah.
we've been kind of talking about the idea of maybe just doing as many as we can in one day, not trying to do all of them. I guess trying to do all of them, but knowing it'd be very, very impossible to do. But let's, earn,
Yeah.
whatever. So we'll get there. But that's been a bucket list item for me as well. So
Mhm.
let's jump over to the cruises, Jen. Disney or otherwise, do you have a bucket
Mm.
list item on cruises, things you would love to do?
Oh my gosh, if I could stay in like the funnel suite or the Walt suite on
Oh,
my
yes. If I could see
gosh.
that would be amazing.
Oh, I've toured them and it's just honestly, just to stay concierge, which I've never stayed concierge Disney Cruise Line, and that would even just staying concierge in a regular concierge room would be amazing.
That would be cool. I mean, like I said, just to see it would be fantastic. I went on my first Royal Caribbean cruise last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. It was the Freedom class. It was the Freedom of the
Yes.
Seas. I kind of have an idea. I would love to go on a cruise on each of the classes at some point.
You mean like
there's
each of the like Freedom
each
class?
of the ships, because Royal Caribbean,
Yeah.
for those without to
Yeah.
know, there's like a handful of ships in each class. Everything from the
Yes.
Vision class, the Radiance, Voyager, Freedom, Quantum, Oasis,
Mhm.
now the Icon class.
Yes.
And there's several ships under each, and just doing one out of each one
Yeah.
would be fantastic. So, Jen, if you ever want to send me on the Majesty of the Sea, which is like a tiny little boat compared to the Icon.
That's so old.
So it's very, very old, but I would love to do that. I would love to experience the different Royal Caribbean
Yeah.
ships. I would also love to experience all, the ships like Norwegian and Celebrity and things
Yeah.
like that. But those are things. One, I guess, say reverse bucket list item that I got to do was Alaska last year. I
Oh,
never thought I could do Alaska.
yes.
And we'll kind of talk about some of that too. Reverse bucket item list is something you've done in your past going, you know what?
Yeah.
Had I not done that, that would have been a bucket list item. Going to Alaska, bucket list
For
item.
sure.
We saw the lumberjack show. It was great. We saw, we might not see glaciers, but we saw like through the ports and stuff.
Mhm.
It was just really, really cool to, wake up and walk to the
Right.
top deck. And I'm like, Alaska, and it's cold. And so,
And it's
it was,
cold.
it was really, really cool. But I also
Yeah.
got to go to Astoria, Oregon, and go on the movie tour and see the Goonies stuff, like where the Goonies took
Oh,
place, and
yeah.
where like the Jeep where
That's
the bullet
so
hole
right up your
resides,
alley.
lay in the bed where the Fratellis laid in that cell before they broke out. I mean, just how it was
Yeah.
cool. It was a cool thing to do. So I would love to do that with Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
I would love to just take some different cruises, and like you, I would love to stay in some of those bigger ones.
Yeah.
But for me, I would just like to go on more cruises. Now I know that's hard to say it's a bucket list item because you just go on more cruises, but yeah, doing more Royal Caribbean in the classes and stuff would be
Sure.
cool. Anything else? Cruise? Now you've done a lot though, cruise wise. I
I've
feel
done a
like
lot of
you've done an
cruises.
awful lot cruise wise. What are some
Yeah.
of the things that you've done and experienced that you would look back on and say, you know what, that could have been a bucket list item?
Oh, the Rhine River cruise I did
Mhm.
with Adventures by Disney was definitely that would have been on my bucket list had I
Right.
not crossed it off. I still have the Seine River cruise and the Rhone on my bucket list as well. Both are French rivers,
Right.
and I would oh my gosh, I would love that. I would also say, well, coming up, I have the Mediterranean cruise on
Mhm.
Disney Cruise Line, and that is one that would be on my bucket list as well.
But you get to do it, which is
Which
awesome.
I'm getting to do it. So yes, I'm going to cross off my bucket list of a Mediterranean cruise. Now, there's lots of different varieties of Mediterranean cruising, but it's checking off like the ones I really wanted to
Do you have any
get
more
to.
bodies of water that you would love to sail, whether it's the Amazon or the Nile or other rivers and stuff, or other ocean seas, whatever? Or is Mediterranean going to kind of sort of complete the overall list for you?
Well, you know what? At some point, I would not mind going down because this is going to get into a land bucket list as well. But I would
that's okay. Yeah.
also see it around Fiji, Bora Bora, the Tahitian
Mhm.
Islands, and then maybe over to like Australia, the South Pacific. Sailing the South Pacific would be amazing. And there
That
are
would be
like some
cool, 'cause
yacht companies that do that.
that was Brady's birthday gift a couple of years ago,
Well, it was
and then
supposed to
COVID
be.
happened. Right? It's supposed to be, and then COVID happened, and everything got like
Our house
upended.
happened.
Oh, the house happened too.
Our
You bought
house
a house.
happened.
Yes, you bought a house.
So-
Golden Oak, is that right there at Disney
Oh
World?
yeah. No,
So-
no, but the money had to come from somewhere, and we
Mhm.
needed the money for the house. So we decided. Brady's like, I'm going to postpone my Bora Bora bucket list trip for, a future birthday. We're going to get into our house, and then we'll figure it out.
Right.
So
Well, let's talk about worldwide. Let's talk about
Okay.
just overall travel, whether it's parks or cruises, and just kind of broaden
Yeah.
the scope. For me, there's two places I want to put my feet on. One is Australia. I've always wanted to go to Australia, and not just walk through this. I mean, I would love to see the city, Harbour House. I would love
Oh,
to
of
walk through
course.
Perth and walk some of the cities and stuff. But I would love to just be in a Jeep and just seeing some of the outback and just walking through
yeah.
there and just experiencing that. Now I don't want to spend the night in the outback. I'm not a crocodile Dundee. I don't want, because there are things like there's a lot of things in Australia that will kill you. I mean, like
Yes,
I feel like the animals in Australia, they all want to kill you. And
probably.
so those are things that I have to be worried about. But I also, especially talking to our good friend Marcy about this, I want to go to Antarctica. How cool would it be
Mm,
to put my foot on Antarctica and say, you know what?
yeah,
I've been to Antarctica, and that's just
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That's
Expedition
just a cool
cruising,
thing.
super
Yeah.
cool.
So
Yeah.
anywhere that you'd like to go that maybe you haven't been, or something you'd like to experience in a place you've been, you just haven't done it yet. Thoughts?
Yeah, this is one that, and Brady's hardcore looking at this one. He wants to do
Mhm.
it. Is the Orient Express, which is
Oh, nice.
you've heard the Agatha Christie,
There was a
Murder on
murder
the
there.
Orient Express.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a murder
Yes.
there. But no, there is still an Orient Express that runs from Venice to, mm, I'm gonna mess it up. But I mean, I tell you what,
Mhm.
this thing, is amazing.
Right.
Like, just absolutely crazy, like luxurious. And, it's like a specific, like there's dress codes. It's crazy. So he really
That's
wants to
awesome.
do that. As would I. I very much would like to do that. So that's definitely on the list, as well as doing trains through the Swiss mountains.
Nice.
Hmm.
That would be cool. I would love to see Switzerland. I would love to see Norway. I would love to, my
Oh,
in-laws
Norway's
are going to
gorgeous.
a Norwegian cruise coming up in July through Viking. And just the ports they get to go to are fantastic. And going back to Alaska, I would love to go back to Alaska, because originally the cruise we were going to take in September was going to be an Alaskan cruise. Sitka
Right.
and Juneau and several
Hmm.
other places there.
Yeah.
It turned out it was a Pacific Northwest cruise. Now I was getting to go kind of as a special group, so I
Yeah.
can't complain. I can't complain at
Right.
all
Right.
about what
Right.
we did, which was awesome. But so we got to see British Columbia and Oregon, things like
Yeah.
that. But I would love to go back and see some of the Alaskan stuff and see the
Yes.
glaciers and see the icebergs and see just
Hmm.
all of that would be really, really
Be
cool. So,
amazing.
so yeah, there's a lot of travel things on my bucket list.
Absolutely.
Anything specific that you would like to do? Not just I would like to go on this cruise or go on this trip or
Okay.
see this place. Anything like, when I go here, I want to do this. When I go here, I want to do that.
Oh, I mean, the answer is always eat.
Mhm. Of course.
I
Of
want to go to this
course.
place and I would like to eat
Hmm.
um all of their food. Well, I will say I'm gonna actually reverse bucket list this one. When I went
Okay,
to
do it.
Hawaii, I got to swim with the manta rays, which I did not know I
Fun
wanted to do
times.
until I did it. And it was so flipping incredible. Like, you're
That's
sitting there
awesome.
and there is this ginormous, I mean, it's like a 12-foot wingspan manta ray.
Hmm.
And your instruction is just be, and we were free floating. Okay. There are ones where you can hold
Right.
on to boards. We were free floating. This manta ray, I have video of it, comes up and it like does like a belly flip. It was like 3 inches from me. That's how they're
Hmm.
exploring their territory. It was just
That's
incredible.
really cool.
It was really, really cool. So yeah, that would be something. In Bora Bora, the very specific thing would be to stay in an over the water bungalow.
Hmm.
Which, listen, I can do that at Sandals too, and Sandals is an amazing product, and absolutely,
And Polynesian,
and
the bungalows
yeah,
at the parks.
true.
A little different, but
A
still.
little different. Yeah, like I want to see the fish through the floor. Like
Right.
that would be just really, really cool. Um, and then in Europe, like I said, I would just want to see the Matterhorn.
Mm.
Like, just see it.
But
And
you
I'm
can see it
about
at
to cross
Disneyland.
off Pompeii,
That's really cool too.
which I'm very excited for.
So, how many continents have you been on at this point? Australia you haven't done yet, and you
I've
haven't done
not.
Antarctica, obviously. But have you
I've
done
not.
Asia at all?
I have not done Asia. So
Okay.
I have not done
I
those
feel like South
three.
Pacific, that would be close to. I mean, I kind of feel like that's Asia. That I don't know if you can quite count it
Does
as
it
Asia,
count?
but that's
If it
Asian.
counts, I
So,
mean, like, maybe depends on where that counts as, I guess.
right. Which is funny because I've never been somebody who's like, I got to visit all the continents. I got to visit. Like,
Yeah.
if I ever go to Asia, great. If I don't, I'm not bothered by, or even Europe. I'm not like, I have to go to
Oh,
Europe.
I love
I would
Europe.
love to go on the river cruises. I think that would be amazing.
Although
Stephanie,
technically Eurasia is a continent. It is the continent of
true,
Eurasia.
true. Sort of kind of true. Okay. Technicality. Stephanie went to Egypt, and it was one of those for her is a bucket list item she didn't know she had. She did some things and saw some
Mm,
things that was just incredible that are
yeah.
lifetime memories for her,
Yeah.
including going on a river cruise, which was pretty amazing. Just
Yeah.
going, river cruises are fantastic. And I guess
They're
after your
so
river
good.
cruise, we'll have to talk about that some because, not a lot of people know about river cruises, or they've seen the concept of river cruise, but
Yeah.
I would love to dive into that about what that entails, what that looks like,
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
River cruising is amazing. Like
So we'll talk more
it's
about that. So.
yeah, at some point we'll have to tell everybody about specifically about that.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
And which is great because as travel advisors, all of these things you're hearing about, and this show
Yeah.
wasn't even a look what we could do for you, but honestly, we can make all this happen for you. We can
Yeah.
put you in Antarctica. We can put you on these river
Hmm.
cruises. We can put you in Australia and all these places. A lot of
Yeah.
these places I recommend Adventures by Disney, but otherwise, there's still lots of places we can do that are outside of Disney.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is contact us at info@uponstartravel.com. Jen, where can we find you to find you on all your travels that are coming up?
Yeah, which I have a lot coming up actually.
You
Now I was
do.
just
You
thinking
really
I've
do.
got to be very good about keeping my stuff posted.
Mhm.
You can find me at Upon a Star Jen or at Jen_Novotny. Just in the next couple months, I have, in addition to Disney, which I've mentioned, I
Right.
have Jamaica, I have Curacao, I
Mhm.
have Dominican Republic,
Awesome.
I have uh like I said, some cruises coming up this summer. So I just have a lot of travels coming.
Right. Right. Very cool. I've got Jamaica coming up, which I'm excited about. And then
Yes.
Pittsburgh. I can do back to
Yes.
Pittsburgh, which I'm all excited about
Hello,
that too.
everybody's
And
bucket
my
list.
and my flight is not at 6 a.m. in the morning, which means I won't be stressed out at 4:45 because
That's good.
the TSA line is literally through the front door where you're on start on the sidewalk outside.
Dude, it
Um,
started being like that for me too recently.
nightmare.
So it's
I
so
was like,
bad.
what the heck? Which means I will get there 2.5 hours early this time,
Yeah.
and I'll walk right through TSA.
And
And be
that is
like, oh,
correct. That is how
now I
that
get
will
to
work.
hang out at the gate for 2 hours before my flight leaves.
Yeah.
That's
There's
coming up anyway.
breakfast
So
places.
yeah, you'll hear all about that coming up. Find me online at the Magic on a Dollar on Instagram. Find me on Facebook at Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a
Mhm.
Dollar. Of course, follow our good friend Kyla, our sort of kind of third co-host who rotates through here sometimes. She's at
Yeah.
Disney Geek 27. She's actually in the
Mhm.
parks right now. You
She
can follow her,
is.
and she's got a trip to Puerto Rico coming up, so you can follow her on that.
Yes.
Of course, the Moana mom, that's our quasi producer, Heather. Follow her there. And she's got her trip to, she's got cruises coming up.
She does have cruises coming up.
Various cruises. She loves
Med
Disney
cruise.
cruising. So,
Not the
Med
same one
cruise.
as
So
me.
she's coming up. So, all that's happening as well. And for me, for the summer, I'll just be kind of slumming it around here with the kid doing splash adventure stuff. One bucket list item I'm hoping to do maybe this summer is to take my kid to Disney, a father-son trip just for a couple of days to see how he
Oh.
does. We put him in a stroller, a red tag
Yeah.
stroller, because just to kind of keep him whatever. But I'm wondering how he's going to do over 2 days where he doesn't have a stroller, and it's just he and I just walking and doing stuff or whatever, and crossing my fingers. We'll see what happens. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I'm looking like I'm hoping that might happen this summer. We'll see.
That'd be
I haven't
great.
actually told Stephanie about it yet. I guess I should at some point.
It's fine.
But be like, where are you guys? Well, line for Small World, because Peter Pan was closed for right now, and you're where? That's a conversation we'll get to later. But
Yeah.
anyway, Jen, thanks for being the best co-host ever. I'm Dave, and hey, don't forget to thank and travel with your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.